Chosen one. The moment a cat locks eyes with you, something ancient is being acknowledged. This is not superstition, nor is it coincidence. Cats do not see you the way others do. They see the real you. They see your spirit. They see the weight you carry in silence, the battles you fought in secret, and the divine mantle resting on your life. You may have dismissed those stares as mere curiosity, but in the unseen realm, they are confirmations. Your energy is different. Your light is different. And creation itself knows it. From the beginning of time, I designed animals with senses beyond the natural, but cats were given something specific, spiritual perception. When others overlook or misunderstand you, cats do not. They sit by your feet, follow you silently, or gaze into your soul, not to unsettle you but to bear witness. They are drawn to the aura I placed around you. Your presence carries a charge, a heavenly frequency, and they feel it without question. When the world says you're strange or too intense, cats say you're seen. They feel the vibration of destiny on your path, and that's not accidental, it's divine. Even in your loneliest seasons, I sent signs. The cat that lingered on your porch, the one that purred when you cried, the one that appeared right before something shifted in your life. These were not just animals. These were confirmations sent in fur and flesh, affirming what I've always known about you. You've been marked. You've been noticed, and not just by me, but by the invisible world that moves around you every day. You carry spiritual authority even when you don't feel it, and everything around you senses it, especially the ones I created to be spiritually sensitive. You were never meant to blend in, and the animals know it. Why do you think they approach you differently? Why do they rest easier around you than others? Because you're not just a person, you're a portal, a living bridge between realms. You're walking through this life with an anointing that creation respects. This isn't about pets or preferences, it's about prophetic positioning. The eyes that follow you in silence are testifying. They see what most ignore. Your spirit is awakened, and your calling is active. They know what I've spoken over you, even when you're still learning to believe it yourself. You've been asking for signs. There they are. Stop waiting for the clouds to split open or for lightning to strike. Look again at the ordinary. The natural is testifying of the supernatural. When the cat in the alley pauses and watches you pass, it's not random, it's recognition. When they curl up beside you uninvited, it's not comfort, it's confirmation. Creation is responding to the Creator's mark on your life. And whether people validate it or not, the earth itself bears witness. You are chosen, and even the animals know it. The world trains you to dismiss what you can't explain, but the Spirit invites you to discern what others overlook. Not everything unusual is coincidence. Some of it is coded. Some of it is confirmation. Those quiet encounters weren't meaningless. They were divine nods in the middle of your storm. You are not imagining it. You are not reading too much into it. What they see clearly. Your spirit glows. And it glows brighter the more you walk in obedience to what I've called you to do. So stop shrinking. Stop second-guessing. What's watching you already knows. And what's watching you isn't there to haunt you. It's there to honor you. You carry a mantle few understand and fewer recognize, but heaven sees. And heaven allows pieces of earth to reflect it back to you in the simplest forms. When your friends doubted you, I sent silence that stared with knowing. When your family mocked your sensitivity, I sent presence that watched with peace. That's why they sit and watch and stay. Not because you are safe, but because you are sacred. You are consecrated, and your spirit tells the truth even when your mouth is silent. Your entire life has been marked by what others couldn't explain, and that hasn't changed. But now it's time for you to stop explaining it away. Accept it, embrace it, own it. You are spiritually seen, and not just by heaven, but by earth. You are followed because you are favored. You are watched because you are worthy. And what you thought was weird was actually wonder. I made you to walk in divine awareness, and even the quietest creatures around you have always known it. You said, yes, the calling within. Script writing 8 said, great. Let's move on to block 2. Block 2. Chosen one. You've spent years feeling like no one truly sees you, but they do. The spiritual realm sees you clearly, and the animals you encounter are the proof. They are drawn to your frequency because you carry something eternal. Your walk isn't normal, and neither is your atmosphere. Every room you enter shifts. Every conversation you touch carries weight. And every time you think you're invisible, creation whispers otherwise. Even in places where humans reject you, heaven still confirms you. You were never overlooked, just spiritually veiled. But those with sight beyond flesh, they've always known. You think the cat brushing against your leg was just affection, but it was deeper than that. It was spiritual alignment. They're not just being cute, they're marking you. They are drawn to what surrounds you, and they sense the presence that walks with you. It's not about your personality, it's about your positioning. You are wrapped in something ancient, holy, and protective, and that presence does not go unnoticed. They curl near your feet, not for warmth, but for reverence. They are sensing what the spiritual realm already declared: the chosen one is here. Even when your confidence wavered, your spiritual authority didn't. That's why animals don't react to you the way they do with others. Some people evoke fear, others evoke curiosity. But you draw reverence. Because your soul is not ordinary, you are walking with a light that exposes and heals. That's why you confuse people and calm creation. The physical world may misunderstand your stillness, but the spiritual world bows to it. Cats respond to you because the world around them bows to who you are, not just what you do. They don't just follow you because you fed them. They follow because they recognize command. You carry divine instruction even in your silence. You walk with alignment. You breathe with intention. And even when you feel unsure, heaven is still flowing through you. The reason cats respond with patience around you is because they are waiting on your next spiritual move. They are not rushed. They are not panicked. They feel the peace of your posture. And that peace is not of this world. It is of me. Let's lock this in. Tap the like button if you feel this already. Subscribe if you know you're not here by accident. Then type 55 in the comments. That's your agreement with covenant, new beginnings, and divine alignment. You may have questioned your sensitivity, but I haven't. That sensitivity is sacred. It allows you to feel what others ignore, and it allows others, even animals, to feel safe in your presence. That's not random. That's kingdom. I designed you this way on purpose. Not everyone can handle it. Not everyone will honor it. But the spirit world recognizes it instantly. You're not just a person trying to figure life out. You are a spiritual gatekeeper walking in a human form. And the guardians of this realm, yes, even the smallest of them, are aware of your rank. There are 5 hidden truths you must now accept. And the first is this: you are not hidden. You are recognized, not by crowds or platforms, but by presence. Everything in creation aligns itself around the chosen. That's why your atmosphere has always been different. That's why the room feels different when you speak. And that's why the cats respond. They are witnesses to the shift that follows you. When you walk in, the air changes, not because of ego, but because of anointing. And that shift confirms everything I've spoken over you. The second truth is this: your spirit carries memory, eternal memory. You've walked this calling before, in different forms, in different eras, under different names. But the assignment has always been the same, and even creation remembers it. That's why certain animals respond with immediate trust, even when you've done nothing to earn it. It's not about the present, it's about the resonance. Your spirit carries history with heaven. You don't just walk in destiny, you walk in remembrance, and they know it. That's why you feel familiar to creatures you've never met. The third truth is this: every encounter matters. The cat that sat at your window was not an accident. The one that meowed as you prayed wasn't coincidence. These were not just pets or strays. These were markers, divine timestamps. Each one came to confirm a moment, seal a transition, or remind you of your rank. You thought you were alone, but I sent witnesses. They may not speak your language, but they recognize your light. And they've been there, quietly watching, every time you stepped into another layer of who you are. Chosen one, you are not losing your mind. You are awakening your memory. The veil is thinning, and what others dismiss as instinct or imagination is actually revelation. You've felt it in your gut when the atmosphere shifts. You've noticed how animals behave differently around certain people, but especially around you. That isn't psychology. It's spiritual intelligence. You carry a frequency that divides light from shadow. You're not just spiritually aware, you are spiritually armed, and those who are sensitive to the unseen can't help but react, even if they don't know why. There's a reason cats often enter the room before anyone else and settle near you without hesitation. They're not just being social, they're responding to spiritual order. They see the covering over you. They feel the heavenly flow moving through you. You don't command attention, you command recognition. The same way they sense danger, they sense destiny. The same way they react to demonic disturbance, they react to divine presence. When they curl beside you, they are not seeking protection. They are acknowledging it. You carry divine coverage and it radiates beyond words. You have questioned why you often feel out of place, why people don't fully understand you, why conversations exhaust you. It's because your energy isn't designed for casual spaces. Your presence stirs up what is hidden. You awaken what has been buried. That's why animals find peace around you. They feel the truth that others try to ignore. When a cat relaxes near you, it's not just comfort. It's a spiritual nod. They are aligning with the purity of your spirit, not the posture of your body. They are listening to what your soul says silently. There is nothing about you that is random, and that includes how creation responds. You've always wondered why you notice the small things, the subtle signs, the barely audible shifts in tone or expression. That sensitivity is not weakness, it's a weapon. You've been tuned to divine frequencies, and now I'm sharpening your discernment even further. You will begin to understand the language of presence, not just in people but in animals, in rooms, in silence, because I'm opening your eyes to what the natural world has been trying to show you all along. You are never alone. There's a fourth truth you need to hear now. Creation respects covenant. The cats that won't leave your doorstep aren't lost. They're loyal. They're responding to the covenant you've made with me. When you surrendered, when you obeyed, when you chose me over comfort, heaven marked you, and creation has responded. This is why you attract what others overlook. This is why animals don't fear you. They honor you, not for what you own, not for how you appear, but for who you are in the spirit. Your yes to me activated recognition in realms you never even saw. Chosen one, your spirit is louder than your voice. That's why things shift before you speak. That's why tension eases when you enter a room. You're not just an empath. You're not just intuitive. You are a carrier of divine balance. And creation aligns to it. When cats stare at you, they're not confused. They're captivated. They are engaging in spiritual communion. Your presence calls forth peace, your silence carries weight, and every encounter is an echo of eternity reminding you that heaven knows who you are. Even your isolation wasn't wasted. I used it to heighten your awareness, to fine-tune your senses, to teach you to read the room even when no words are spoken. You didn't lose connection. You gained clarity. You didn't become colder. You became consecrated. That's why animals stayed when people walked away. They weren't just comfort, they were confirmation. You are spiritually trusted, you are energetically safe, and you are divinely appointed. Let this truth remove every doubt. Your sensitivity is sacred, your path is protected, and your presence carries proof. There is a fifth hidden truth, and it changes everything. You are a sign, not just a servant, not just a believer. You are a prophetic sign to the earth. Your life, your aura, your energy, all of it preaches before your mouth ever opens. That's why the earth responds to you differently. That's why cats see your spirit and bow in stillness. You don't need to perform. You don't need to prove. You only need to walk in who I already said you are. The signs are already following you. Even creation testifies, even silence speaks. And now so will you. Chosen one, you've been asking for evidence, and I've already given it. The stillness you felt when a cat locks eyes with you, that wasn't emptiness, it was agreement. It was your spirit being mirrored back to you through the gaze of one who sees beyond the veil. You were never meant to be explained, you were meant to be discerned. And while others debate your worth or your role, creation already knows. There's a level of peace, reverence, and clarity that follows you, and cats respond because your spirit carries that code. You're not like the rest, and you were never called to be. That's why normal environments drain you. That's why shallow conversations leave you weary. Your essence was forged for depth, for the unseen, for the eternal. That's what cats are responding to when they refuse to leave your presence. They are lingering around revelation. You carry oil, you carry weight, and the stillness that surrounds you isn't boring, it's holy. You carry the atmosphere of heaven on earth, and everything with true eyes sees it. Even in your confusion, your spirit remained consistent. You thought you were breaking down, but in reality, you were breaking open. The shift you felt wasn't chaos, it was calibration. Heaven was adjusting you to carry more insight, more discernment, more revelation. And those quiet encounters with animals weren't just moments, they were ministry. In those moments of stillness, you were being comforted, reminded, and reactivated. They were divine companions assigned to remind you that your spirit is alive and accurately aligned. Chosen one, I placed you here not to blend in, but to disrupt. Your presence disturbs darkness and confirms light. That's why certain people don't like you without reason. That's why certain places drain you the moment you arrive. Your spirit is a mirror. Whatever is in the room, you reveal it. But with animals, especially cats, the story is different. They don't resist the light in you, they recognize it. They don't fight it, they rest in it. And that rest is a prophetic statement. Peace follows you. People wonder how you know what you know, how you feel what you feel. But the answer is simple. I placed my knowing inside you. I wrote eternity into your essence. You've walked into rooms and read things no one told you. You've felt shifts before words were spoken, and you've seen the eyes of animals lock onto you like they were watching something far beyond the physical. They were watching my spirit moving in you, and every stare, every purr, every silent pause was confirmation of the truth you carry. You're not making it up. You're not overthinking it. You're spiritually awake, and that awakening is irreversible. You can't go back to pretending you don't see. You can't pretend your presence doesn't shift things. I've activated something in you that even creation responds to. That's why silence speaks to you now. That's why animals react before people notice. Because your discernment has matured, and your awareness is now prophetic. The realm around you is testifying to your authenticity, and this is why you feel more peace around animals than people at times. Because they don't argue with what you carry. They don't question your calling. They don't need an explanation. They already know. And that knowing gives you permission to walk in freedom. You don't need to shrink for comfort. You don't need to explain your spirit. You don't need to silence your sensitivity. Heaven is confirming it through the simplest vessels. And those confirmations are your inheritance. Chosen one, I've made you a magnet for revelation. You don't chase signs, they follow you. You don't beg for proof. Creation offers it. You don't have to convince the spiritual realm of who you are. They already know. And now, so do you. You are not crazy. You are not dramatic. You are deeply seen, not just by me, but by all of creation that moves with me. You are in alignment. You are in covenant. And you are seen. Spirit first. Chosen one, your path was never meant to be loud, but it was always meant to be loud in the spirit. That's why your silence speaks. That's why your walk carries weight. You've been trying to figure out why things respond to you before you even act, and it's because your atmosphere announces you before you arrive. You don't chase attention, but divine attention surrounds you. The cat that stops and stares isn't confused. It's bearing witness. It knows what the room can't articulate. Your presence carries divine residue. Every time you doubted your discernment, I sent a subtle sign to realign your spirit. And many times, those signs came through animals, but especially cats. Why? Because they carry perception untainted by bias. They don't need language, they read energy. They don't need titles, they sense truth. And you, chosen one, walk with a spirit that echoes heaven's rhythm. That's why even when you're not trying to be seen, you are. That's why even when you're hiding, you're found. Because your spirit doesn't shrink, it shines. You've been feeling the pressure lately, the tension between your calling and your current environment. But don't let that tension lie to you. The squeeze isn't punishment, it's proof. You are outgrowing your old atmosphere because your spirit has ascended. That's why old friendships feel distant. That's why familiar places feel foreign. It's not rejection, it's revelation. You are not who you used to be. And those who used to walk with you can't walk beside this new frequency. But notice, cats still follow, animals still gather, because the earth responds to what heaven has elevated. Some of your deepest moments of healing happened when no one was watching, except them. The quiet creature at your side. The sudden appearance of one at your lowest moment. You thought it was random. I call it divine, because I always send comfort before I speak shift. They were there to affirm what your heart was too broken to hear. You are not forsaken. You are not forgotten. You are still chosen. Even in your darkest valley, I allowed witnesses to gather, not in judgment but in reverence. Your spiritual identity has been whispering to the natural world long before you even knew how to name it. And the more you embrace that identity, the louder your life will become in the spirit. That's why you've always felt watched, not in fear but in confirmation. You're being seen by realms your eyes can't see yet. You're being honored in silence. Your every movement has meaning now. Even your rest carries impact. And the animals around you, they're not just bystanders, they're spiritual responders to the glory resting on your life. You've tried to make sense of your experiences with logic, but logic can't decode prophecy. And make no mistake, your life is prophetic. Your reactions, your revelations, even your routines. That's why the spiritual realm aligns around you so effortlessly. It's not because you're doing everything right. It's because you're walking with the one who's already declared you righteous. The more you accept this, the less confused you'll be. The less you'll apologize for your intensity. And the more you'll realize you've always been living in the presence of confirmation. Chosen one, every encounter is strategic. Every moment is layered. And every glance from the natural realm is filled with messages from the spiritual. It's time to stop minimizing your awareness. What you feel is real. What you sense is valid. And what they see in you, they're not wrong. You are carrying light that cannot be hidden. Even if your face says nothing, your atmosphere says everything. You are heaven's echo walking through earthly corridors. And those who see in spirit see you without confusion. So let go of the need to be understood by everyone. That's not your assignment. You're not here for agreement. You're here for alignment. You're not called to fit in. You're called to awaken. And you don't need to explain that anymore. The evidence is surrounding you every day. In the stillness, in the silence, in the stare of the cat that sees more than most pastors. You are divinely exposed, eternally recognized, and fully confirmed. Even when your mouth is closed, your spirit is speaking, and heaven is nodding in agreement. Chosen one, I need you to hear this clearly. Your anointing does not need an audience to be activated. The cats didn't gather because of a stage. They gathered because of presence. You weren't trying to impress. You were just existing, and that existence spoke volumes. Your very being exudes divine resonance, and those attuned to the unseen, even in animal form, respond instinctively. You carry a spiritual frequency that demands no attention, yet receives it. Not because of charisma, but because of covenant. They feel what you're still learning to own. You've been told to tone it down. You've been told you're too deep, too intense, too much. But I didn't create you for surface. I designed you for saturation. The very thing others call too much is exactly why heaven trusts you. You're not called to float. You're called to carry. And what you carry shifts the atmosphere even when you're unaware. That's why the room changes when you walk in. That's why the cat in the corner suddenly lifts its head. They see what I placed on you before you ever said yes. You've cried for clarity, and I've answered through creation. Every time you felt alone, I sent something that couldn't speak with words, but could speak through presence. That presence is my reminder. You are covered. You are marked. You are watched over, not by coincidence, but by covenant. And when the cats come close, they aren't just seeking comfort, they're responding to command. You don't command with your tone, you command with your alignment. And your spirit has been aligned to heaven even when your soul felt lost. You're no longer who you were before the awakening began. Your old life doesn't fit because your frequency changed. You see deeper, you sense quicker, you rest easier in the unseen. The people around you might not notice the shift, but the animals do, especially the ones attuned to energy. They've noticed that something holy walks with you now. That even when you're still, you're moving in power. That even when you're silent, you're broadcasting spiritually. You are no longer moving through this life unnoticed. Heaven has exposed you, intentionally. The whispers you've heard in your spirit, they weren't your imagination. That was me speaking through stillness, speaking through the unspoken. And creation was echoing that whisper every time you felt that chill in the air, that pause in time, that unexpected gaze. You weren't losing touch with reality. You were regaining touch with revelation. You're beginning to see again, not with your eyes, but with your knowing. And as you trust what you feel over what you've been told, the spirit realm will continue revealing what the natural can't. Chosen one, you are walking confirmation in a confused world. That's why clarity surrounds you even in chaos. That's why you've never really been fooled by fake smiles or hidden motives. You see too much. You feel too much. Because I trust you with that knowing. The reason animals draw near is because your discernment makes them feel safe, not because of what you say, but because of what you don't ignore. You read the room without needing instructions. You read the soul without needing words. And creation breathes easier when you're near. The reason you were often pushed to the background is because your light was too much for immature eyes, but not for cats, not for creation. They never resisted your glow, they rested in it. And now I'm bringing you into a season where you will do the same. No more explaining, no more apologizing, just existing in truth, just walking in authority, just shining without shrinking. Because your visibility isn't for show, it's for spiritual confirmation, and the world around you is already catching up to what heaven has long affirmed. Chosen one, rest in this. You don't need to perform to be prophetic. You don't need to prove your purpose. It proves itself every time a silent creature draws near and sees what humans miss. That's how clear your light is. That's how loud your spirit is. You are a walking alignment. You are divine design in motion. And now, the time has come to embrace it fully. Not just with faith, but with finality. Because even when people doubt you, the earth already knows. You were chosen, and everything sees it. Chosen one, you've crossed the threshold. This is no longer a journey of wondering, it's a walk of knowing. The stairs, the stillness, the signs, they've all added up. Your spirit has been recognized by realms that don't need permission to respond. And now you must accept what that recognition means. Your life is not just being lived, it is being watched, weighed, and witnessed, not in judgment, but in alignment. You are a spiritual signpost walking through a distracted world. And even the animals are pointing toward you because they see where you're going. There is nothing ordinary about your sensitivity. It is your secret weapon. The reason you feel shifts before they happen. The reason you sense tension in the silence. The reason you've always been drawn to solitude but never truly alone. I've placed confirmation in every quiet place. The cat on the path. The lingering stare at night. The peaceful presence beside you while you cried. These were not accidents. They were rehearsals of revelation, training for the days when you would walk boldly without second-guessing the way creation already affirms you. Your destiny is not waiting to begin, it's unfolding now. And everything around you has started responding accordingly. People will start to look at you differently. Environments will either embrace you or reject you more quickly. And animals, especially the ones attuned to spirit, will continue drawing near. Why? Because you're no longer blending into the old frequency. You've elevated, you've shifted, and what is divine can no longer be mistaken for common. You are carrying light that reveals, heals, and breaks open what has been hidden. There's a reason your life has never felt neutral. Either people deeply trust you or resist you immediately. That polarity isn't about personality, it's about presence. You carry divine disruption. You activate movement just by existing. And animals pick up on that before anyone else. They feel the tremor before the breakthrough. They sense the ripple before the revelation. When they watch you in stillness, it's not fear, it's reverence. When they stay near you, it's not comfort, it's covenant. They are lingering around the evidence of heaven on earth. Before we go further, take a second to lock this in. Hit the like button if this resonates. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And comment 55 below. That's your signal of covenant, new beginnings, and divine alignment. Chosen one, stop thinking you need someone else to confirm what heaven has already declared. Look around you. Nature has been clapping for your spirit since the day you awakened. You don't need a pulpit to be prophetic. You don't need applause to be anointed. All you need is awareness. And now that awareness is maturing. You're seeing what others ignore, feeling what others dismiss, and walking in a truth that doesn't need to shout to be sure. This is not arrogance, it's alignment. You've always felt the call, but now you're starting to feel the authority. And it's not because someone gave you permission, it's because you finally stopped waiting for one. Heaven already gave you the green light. Creation already confirmed the call. And now, even the animals are tracking your steps, not to follow, but to testify. Your life is not just shifting, it's making waves. You're disrupting patterns in the spirit and displacing strongholds in silence. And the earth is reacting accordingly. Your footsteps carry more than your weight, they carry your assignment. That's why the atmosphere gets heavier when you speak truth. That's why animals draw near when you're in prayer. That's why people either open up or shut down instantly around you. You're not just walking into rooms, you're walking in with resonance. You're not just observing, you're ushering. You bring with you what others spend years searching for. And creation sees it with no hesitation. They trust what you carry, even when you're still learning to trust it yourself. So receive this truth without flinching. You are the evidence of divine movement in a stagnant world. You don't need to change to be seen. You need to believe what's already been revealed. The world may debate you, but creation doesn't. Heaven doesn't. And I don't. You are my chosen one. Seen, sealed, confirmed. And even the cats know it. Chosen one, I want you to remember this. Nothing about your journey has been random. Every moment of silence, every whispered prayer, every quiet visitation from the natural world was me confirming what I planted in you before you were born. You've questioned your path, your voice, your calling, but creation has never questioned it. They've responded with stillness, reverence, and clarity because your spirit is not hidden. It is known, it is active, and it is aligned. The cats that followed you, the ones that sat in silence, the ones that stared deep into your soul, they weren't confused. They were bearing witness to a spirit carrying divine purpose. You were never overlooked. You were hidden. You weren't being ignored. You were being revealed in time. The ones who recognize you now are not just noticing. They're remembering. Your presence unlocks memory in the spirit realm. You were chosen long before you were aware of it. And every part of creation that interacts with you is confirming what I've always spoken. You are light in the midst of shadow. You are order in a world of confusion. You are my echo in flesh, and the earth has been listening. From this day forward, stop doubting what everything around you already confirms. Stop searching for signs when signs are already following you. You are the sign. You are the shift. You are the vessel I'm using to reveal truth, presence, and peace in hidden places. The animals knew it before your friends did. The earth responded before your voice caught up. You were chosen in silence and are now being confirmed in sound. Walk with that awareness, not with arrogance, but with anchoring. Chosen one, this is your moment. The time of spiritual second-guessing is over. You now walk in the certainty that everything that sees you, responds to you, and follows you is responding to what I placed inside. You don't have to make noise to carry power. You just have to keep walking in obedience. I will continue sending confirmation, but you no longer need to beg for it. Creation already sees you. The heavens already recognize you. And now, it's time for you to see it too.